Hi viewers, and welcome to the racing-based preview of Caulfield Guineas Day 2015. The 5 Group 1 races coming to us from Caulfield and Randwick this weekend, and joining me as usual to help dissect the races is Rick Chapman. Rick, how are you, mate? Looking forward to a good weekend of racing?
Always love seeing the good horses, and had a great day last Saturday, as most people did when they went to Randwick, and I think the same will happen this week. So yes, looking forward to it.
Okay, well, let's kick the thing straight off, mate, with 5 to cover. So the Turnbull Stakes is the first of the the Caulfield Stakes, first of the features at Caulfield. How do you see that one playing out?
Oh, look, I think it's a fantastic race. Absolutely fantastic race. You're going to have Entirely Platinum going forward, and Pornichet probably going to sit right off his girth. I think the race sets itself up for something coming from behind, and I think that horse will be Faulkner. There's a few of my favourites in this. At some stage, loved Pornichet as a racehorse. Last year, contributor, when he won his 3 in a row, was on him every start, so he's obviously been good to me. But I just think the way the race will be run, that Faulkner will finish a little bit too strongly. Expect a tremendously improved run from contributor. And, of course, Kermadec, this is the race where he lays claims to be the best horse in the country. If he can swamp these blokes and win, then it's either him or Winks. If not, then, and I don't think he's quite up to them at weight for age level when the pressure's on right from the word go. So I'm going to have Faulkner to win because of the way the race will be run. Big watch on contributor, and tight one, Pornichet and Kermadec for 3rd.
Yeah, well, Kermadec is the X-Factor horse, I think, in this one, Rick. And he beat his stablemate Royal Descent last start, who's since franked the form with a close second in the Turnbull. So that the form looks good heading to Melbourne. You touched on the pace of the race. I think it's going to be the tricky part, Rick, whether they go at a genuine tempo with Entirely Platinum and Pornichet up front, or whether they just get to slow them down that bit extra that makes it harder for the back markers. So like yourself, I'm looking for horses just behind the speed, which I think will be Faulkner and Mongolian Khan. And based on their last runs, I'm leaning towards Mongolian Khan. Faulkner and Mongolian, they hit the line together. There was 1.5 lengths between them at the 300 mark, and it stayed the same on the line. I think being a staying type and not being quite as forward because he's set for the Melbourne Cup, I think Mongolian Khan might have a bit more improvement than Faulkner. He'll appreciate the step up to 2,000 metres, and I think he'll get the gun run right behind them and maybe be too good at good odds.
Well, it'll certainly be good odds because I think they'll forget about him. They'll back Kermadec will be favourite. There'll be a bit of money come because contributor will improve. And, of course, Faulkner's a popular horse. But it'll be a tremendous race, as all races have been. I think it will be a genuine pace, just to address something you said before. We'll talk about the Spring Champion Stakes later when there is only one pacemaker in the race. But this has got 2 genuine horses who go forward. And I think that'll ensure that it'll be a really, truly testing 2,000 metres this time. But fantastic race. Probably the race of the weekend, I think, to watch.
Yeah, I think so. I'm more excited to see this one. So anyway, Faulkner for you, Mongolian Khan for me. And on to the next one, Rick, the Toorak Handicap. Look, it's a tough race for mine, and I'll probably stick clear of this one. But how about yourself?
Well, oddly enough, I think it's easier. I think Lucky Hustler is just a little bit better than all of these. And if Boss can get out in time, and that's my big worry, that he's going to get cluttered up behind horses. There's a lot of pace in this. 4 or 5 horses who like to go forward. They'll set a genuine pace. And he should have nearly won last start, Lucky Hustler, and he meets them all a bit better at the weights. And I fancy him quite strongly, actually. I think he'll swoop and win and justify himself as one of the best milers in the land.
Yeah, unlike the Sir Rupert Clarke a fortnight ago, Rick, where horses have a much better record down in the weights, horses that are up there around the top weight have quite a good record in this race. So I think we as pair look the ones to beat Stratum Star and Lucky Hustler. We took out the Sir Rupert and Toorak double last year with Trusting the Gus, and I think he could probably do the same again this time with Stratum Star. I'm leaning towards that one, but I wouldn't be surprised to see any of his pair win, or disposition wasn't far away last time either. So there's plenty in it, and which is why I'll probably just stick clear and watch the spectacle.
Both beautifully drawn. I agree with the assessment there. I think both the Weir horses are the ones to beat. And even though I'm going to back Lucky Hustler, I'll exactor it with Stratum Star. Maybe if I'm winning, have a saver on Stratum Stars. But like anybody who owns a horse, you like to see horses by the same stallion of the horse you own. And I've got an unraced yearling by Stratum, so naturally there's a bit of me will be cheering Stratum Star as I do every Stratum horse.
Yeah. Well, that's good reasoning, Rick. You want to see your own breeding and your own horse. Salute.
Exactly.
What about the next one that's coming up, Rick? The 1,000 Guineas. You got one picked out there?
Yeah. Look, this is a beauty. You'd have to nearly favour the home track horse, Pasadena Girl. I didn't think there was too much wrong with her last start. I'm a bit concerned about how good Miss Gunpowder is. She just keeps stepping up and beating all these rivals, but drawn deep is going to be an issue. And I love the way Bataouia won last start. One with authority, and I love horses backing up a week later. I think it's one of those three, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say it's Bataouia. I think it might be a horse tremendously on the rise, and Miss Pasadena Girl flashing home for a second, and Miss Gunpowder right there to finish 2 and 3rd. But I'll be on Bataouia.
Yeah, Miss Gunpowder for Philip Stokes was very impressive last time, and the money was spot on. She was heavily backed and saluted Julie. So for mine, Pasadena Girl was a bit disappointed. I tipped her and backed her for a stack, and was pretty disappointed to see that performance. But I'm going to stick with her again. I think she can bounce back. She is a class filly, home track advantage, more suitable 1,600 metres, and Miss Gunpowder may be a little bit suspect over 16 if she tries to lead again. But then again, she could, we don't know what she's capable of, and she could just blow them away again.
Well, as I said, she keeps stepping up. But, yeah, it'll be a great race, but I do think it'll be one of those three.
Yeah, yours, Bataouia, the barrier is a slight concern for me, Rick. 10 of 11. The horse is going to go back, might need a bit of luck getting in, and it's going to have to make a run in the straight and come past some pretty smart fillies. So, yeah, I'll stick with Pasadena Girl.
Yeah, no, that's good. Next race is a better one.
Next one, Caulfield Guineas. Can anything beat Press Statement, Rick?
Only the barrier. You've got to know that Huey Bowman got suspended today for can't ride after this weekend until Cox Plate Day. So he'll be wanting to go out on a bit of a high, and he's on Press Statement. There's no better jockey in the land, probably the world. So I suggest the 14 barrier won't be too much of an issue. He'll be parked up midfield, one off the fence, and he's got panels on this field. I really like how tough Bonorum is. He just keeps stepping up and finding ways to travel deep and yet still get the prize. And Tulsa. How unlucky is Michael Moroni, this horse? He's drawn barrier 16 his last 3 starts in a row. And I know the team folks complain about barriers, but gee whiz, that's got to be some sort of record. Barrier 16, 3 group races in a row. But he's awesomely talented, Tulsa, and he will flash home and get second, and Shards will battle on for third. But the Sydney horse has got lengths on them.
Yeah, one of our blokes, Paul Mitchell, spoke to Mike Moroney last week, and he'd say he was frustrated, to say the least, about the barrier situation, Rick. Just can't take a trick with this horse. So, again, another wide one. But although Press Statement's drawn wide in 14, and horses, I think only one horse has won from wider than gate 13 in the last 32 years, Rick. So statistics look against him. But with Hugh Bowman in such rare form, maybe Huey can produce a perler and get some spending money before he goes on a short holiday. And I think Press Statement, I think he looks a class above them. So he just needs a little bit of luck, and he'll be too good. Yeah,
exactly. I agree. Talking of class above them, we took the Shortaqua when he narrowly won. We took the $2.40 for Terra Vista when we won. And I wonder if we'll back up for the third one, take the $1.30 Lankan Rupee. He should win by 100 yards.
Should do. Jeez, he's looked good in some jump outs, Rick, hasn't he?
He's back to his best, I think.
He is, yeah. Well, it's a small price, but maybe Lankan Rupee into Press Statement just to increase your odds a little bit.
Yeah. Never go broke back on a winner.
So are you siding with Press Statement there, Rick, or are you going to go for Bonorum?
No, well, I think Bonorum will run third. I think Press Statement's grades above them. I think, as I said in the comment, he'll get a great run. Huey will get him in one off the fence, about 4 pairs back, and he just wins for fun. He's too good. He's just so much better than them. And Tulsa will flash home and run second.
Yeah, I've liked Bassett for a while, Rick, and he was unlucky in the JJ Atkins against Press Statement last time, but when I went back and watched the run, although he was unlucky, once he got clear and he had been buffered a bit, so it would have taken a bit out of him, but Press Statement was just pulling away from him at such a rapid rate, I can't see him turning the tables. And Waller had said that Press Statement did all that off his own back during the winter, and he hadn't pushed him at all, where, he's been pushed this campaign, and he will be too good on Saturday.
He will be. Bassett's too small.
Yeah, he's a little thing. Okay, well, there's Melbourne covered. Over to Randwick, got the Spring Champion Stakes. Rick, have you got something picked there for us?
Well, it's going to be a day of days for Chris Waller. He just wins this. If Press Statement's got lengths on that field in Melbourne, then Vanbrugh, I think, is even further advanced over this field. He was just profoundly dominant last start. Tatouche is as tough as, and I know the stable fancies him, but he's had 100 runs this time up, so he's got to be feeling a little bit leg weary. They're all stepping up to 2,000 for the first time. The only concern I have is the tempo of the race. Judea, the Hawks horse, is the only one who will go forward, and if he controls it, gets really cheap sectionals, that could dent the Vanbrugh finishing burst. But if you put them down one-on-one, he's just lengths better than the Vanbrugh. I think he wins for fun, and Chris Waller has the day of days. Yeah,
it will be another day for Waller, and to be honest, when isn't it? Vanbrugh, I agree. He looks the one to beat, and with luck in running, he just wins. So pretty simple one, I think.
He might talk about Chris Waller. He might have the three best horses going into the Caulfield, the Cox Plate when it comes around. Wings, Preferment, and Kermadec. He's just everywhere you turn around, his horses are flying, and he still thinks that Who Shot the Barman will win the Melbourne Cup. So it's mind blowing how dominant Chris Waller has become in Australian racing.
And just to think that one trainer could possibly, fill the trifecta in a Cox Plate. Now that would be a story in itself.
Yeah, I maintained when I'm losing fans, but I still think that that Hartnell, he's yet to explode, but when he does, he's going to come back fantastic. Yeah. But again,
he just didn't have that same finish did he last week, Rick. But no, he's a good horse. And I was speaking to one of our UK colleagues during the week, and he said it just looks like he's reverted back to his UK form, which wasn't the best. He might have just had a sensational campaign last time and just hasn't come up as good this time, which is hard to predict from his trials. One thing's for sure, Rick, you're going to get better odds about him next time.
Yeah, he's still my Caulfield Cup selection, although I've had a bit today at 41 to 1 on a UK visitor that Tommy Berry's just been announced as the rider. Quest for More. I went through his form after Tommy was announced. I said, geez, good, he smashed Max Dynamite there at Newmarket 2 runs back, and Max Dynamite's going to come here as one of the Melbourne Cup favourites. So you'd have to consider that Quest for More is a value at $31 or $41.
Yep, might be one for punters to take a look at, Rick, and get a slice of that 41.
Yeah, and he'll guarantee to start too, because I think he's about 18th in the order of entry.
All right, mate. Well, that's this week's racing covered. Hopefully you have a bit of success, and hopefully the punters watching taste some success as well and fill their pockets for the bookies' money. And everyone enjoy a fantastic day of Group 1 racing, and we'll be back next week.
It was fantastic at Randwick last week. I was there, and to see a firm track and the best horses run well, and 8 of the 9 races were won by the best horse. And that is so good for racing when you get a day like that. I know bookmakers hate it, but as punters, Just want to see the best horses have luck in running and do well, and they did last week. And if the good Lord wills and the creeks don't rise, it'll happen again this Saturday.
All right, thanks for your time this week, mate, and good luck on the weekend.
Good on you, mate. You too. Remember, punting is easy.